Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Capricorn. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with a Thoth deck, and then we're going to pull 3 cards from the Shadow deck to see if there are any emotions or background energies that we should be aware of. So let's just go ahead and see what we get. Okay, so let us get some Capricorn energy here. So let's channel the energy of the sign of Capricorn. It does not matter if this is your rising sign, your sun, your moon. However you want to interpret this reading is completely up to you. But we will be channeling the energy of Capricorn in this reading. So however Capricorn resonates for you, wherever it sits in your chart, use that in your own judgment to best understand how to interpret whatever we get here. So I hope you're having a good day so far. Whenever you're watching this, if it's in the morning, I hope that you have a good rest of your day ahead of you. And if you're watching this at night, I hope you had a pretty good day, that everything went well. We're going to see here if there are any things we should be aware of, either for the coming moments or some reflections on what you've been through in the recent past. So let's just see what we get. Okay, so this is for Capricorn. Let's see what we get in our Celtic cross. So we have an Ace of Pentacles crossed by a 8 of Wands. In the past, we have an 8 of Pentacles. We have a 5 of Wands. Here we have a 5 of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 6 of Pentacles. We have the Hanged Man. And we have the Hermit. Okay, so we're going to see what's on the back side of this deck after we go through the rest of these cards out here in the front, and that's going to be what we don't see coming. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So we've got, as far as major arcana go, we have 2. We have the Hanged Man and the Hermit. Let's see, as far as our other energies go, we've got a little bit of air. We have some earth, so 3 earth energies. We have 2 wands. Actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 earth energies here. So definitely more heavily weighted towards earth energy here in the suit of Pentacles. But a little bit of fire here, which is always a nice little blend of earth and fire. Not a whole lot of air energy besides this here with the 5 of Swords and the Knight of Swords. And I don't see any water energy here, so that's interesting. No water energy at all. Okay, so maybe that's sort of maybe a message here, is that there's a little bit of a lack of emotional balance here. Not to say that you're emotionally unstable or anything like that, but maybe there is some soothing water energy that can maybe help us with whatever this is telling us. So let's just get a sense of what we've got here. So in the present moment, we have the Ace of Discs, the Ace of Pentacles. This is a new opportunity, something in the physical realm. Maybe it is a new project, a new opportunity for business, maybe some kind of creative project you're going to work on. So you are currently in the moment of starting something new, and that's nice. And what it's crossed by is the 8 of Wands here, which is the card of swiftness and speed, some kind of high-speed communication coming in. So maybe whatever this project is, it's something that came to you very suddenly. In fact, I'm kind of interested to see here we have in the past we have the 8 of Pentacles. This is the card of putting in your time and effort to start building skills and putting the work in over time to grow a skill out of just work, putting that time in to make that work real. And so maybe you've been working on something for a long time. Maybe you've been trying to refine your skills, but it's never really quite amounted to any sort of production. You're just putting the time in, learning the tricks of the trade, learning how you can get better at whatever it is that is your skill or your trade or your work. And maybe this is now finally coming to a new opportunity. Maybe you're now finding a place where you're able to actually take all these skills that you've been developing over all of this time and do something with them, right? The sign of Capricorn is good about being very practical and putting in the time to make something like this occur. So I'm thinking that's probably what's going on here. In the past, you have been working long and hard, learning the little subtle intricacies of whatever your skill is and learning how to perfect that and grow it into something new. And now you've got the opportunity to use that information. And maybe you're the one that's going to be quickly communicating some sort of new idea with whatever this new project is. But here we have, in the near future, we have the Five of Wands. So maybe you're going to be putting yourself out there with whatever this project is, and you're going to have competing forces that you're going to have to be dealing with. Maybe you're going to find yourself in a situation that even though you know what you're doing, there's going to be opposition maybe to take what you're building and use it for their own, or maybe there are going to be other people who are going to try and say that they can do whatever you're doing better. But you know from your prudence and your work and time put into perfecting whatever your trade is, that what you're going to make is going to be good. Okay? And you're whatever it is, I think you're going to put it out there, and it's going to be met with mixed results, mixed reception, I mean. And so I think that's why we see down here the Five of Swords and your subconscious energy. I think this is defeat. So you are worried, I think, that this new project may not be successful. I think that you are concerned that deep down, the competition that you're going to be met with in the physical realm, the people who are going to be competing and pushing back against whatever ideas you're putting on the table, even though you know they're good, when you communicate these, it's going to be met with some resistance, and you're aware of that. And I think that makes you a little anxious to actually put whatever it is that you're making out there to, to manifest that. And that's a reasonable fear, but you want to make sure you don't let this hold you back. Like, it's good to be aware that you're going to meet opposition and you're going to be met with some level of failure and defeat from time to time, but don't let that define you, right? We want to move into the conscious energy ahead of us. This idea of where we could be here is the Knight of Swords, and I think that's what you want to embody. You want to be the person who has the clarity of thought that is going to say, I know that what I've been doing, I've put the time in, I've thought through and worked through the details. I know that this new thing I'm building is going to be great. Even if you don't all see it the way I see it, I have the clarity of thought to be able to really make sure that this thing is perfected and put out there in its best form. And yeah, so that's pretty good. Let's see what we have over here in our general energy. Here we have the Queen of Discs. So this is someone who knows the comforts of life. This is someone who has seen things. They've been around, and they understand where they've been and where they could be going. And usually, I like to think of this as some card that is also maybe nurturing future people who are going to be going on a similar sort of path. That's why it's Queen energy. This is someone who is very practical, and they know what they want. They know how to live nice and comfortably, and they know also what to do with the lessons that they've learned from the past. So I see this Queen of Discs as also being sort of another side of you. I mean, it could be another person. Maybe there's someone around you that is going to help you take your ideas and the work that you've been putting in and help you as a partner to make this thing successful, right? But it also could just be another side of you and who you are. Like I'm seeing you as maybe being somewhere between the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Discs. The Knight of Swords is the confidence to know that what you are building is being built correctly. You've put the time and the effort in. You've tested it. You know that this thing's going to stand up against scrutiny. And so from all of that past experience, not only does this give you the clarity of thought to make what you're building the best version possible, but again, you've also got a little bit of experience and understanding that you know what's going to happen when certain things come to light, when certain, maybe when whatever this project is, if there's going to be some situations where there might be things that don't go as planned, you have thought through those situations and you know exactly where to take things when things don't necessarily go exactly according to plan. You've got the clarity of thought, and you've got the past experiences that sort of balance each other out together, so that when you see this strife ahead of you, you're able to forge through it and overcome defeat to make this new ace of discs a success. And that's great, because I mean, this is your environment. This is where we are sort of needing to go in the present moment forward with whatever is happening here. I think it's going to be a very nice, successful experience, even though, again, there may be some competition and some pushback when you're communicating this idea to the world. When you just throw it out there, people are going to be like, oh no, what is he doing? That can't work. But you know from your experience that it will work, because you've put the time in to try and test your ideas and make sure that they really are going to manifest as you hope they will. But what we don't want, what we are sort of worried about, what our challenge is here, is the Hanged Man. And so I'm wondering if perhaps, again, coming back to this idea of fearing the defeat, that this really won't go as planned. I don't think that this is what's navigating you, but it's something that is sort of in the back of your mind saying, well, what if? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? And that's putting you in this state of hangman energy, of needing to sort of suspend yourself and just continue to reevaluate rather than make physical whatever it is that you're working on here. And being in a hanged man state is fine as long as you don't stay in that hanged man state. Like, you want to be reevaluating things and looking at them from a different point of view, which I think is what you've been doing. So now you're in the stages of making these things real after practicing and practicing, and now you're implementing. But don't get too hung up on these fears and worries that it's not going to go according to plan, because that's not going to make this success come to fruition. The success is going to come from actually believing in what you're doing and trusting that you know what you need to do to make it happen. Okay, so that's kind of what I see as maybe the fear here, is you're worried of getting stuck in a position where you're just thinking and not going anywhere. And you're almost sacrificing your opportunities because you are trying to suspend yourself and reevaluate. And where we see the likely outcome here is the Hermit. And again, reevaluation is good. It is good to refine your ideas and to perfect them. And perhaps that is what's happening here with the Hermit, is that rather than staying in suspended animation, you do need to maybe take this time to sort of reflect inward. I think after you've already sort of created this thing and put it in the world, then you want to take a moment to sort of self-reflect and see, does this thing that I've made live up to the vision that I had of it when I was practicing and working and putting the time in to get better at this skill? And I think because of the time you've put in to understand your craft, taking that Hermit moment to reflect by looking at how it relates to your personal vision of the project is going to be constructive. I mean, I think you are worried that you may end up stuck in this position of a reevaluation rather than pushing forward, but you have Knight of Swords and Queen of Discs energy here, so I think you have the power to propel yourself forward when you're met with opposition or unexpected results. Just reflect, self-reflect, take a moment to step out and look at what's going on. Maybe then, once you've taken this moment to step out and look at things from a different point of view, internalize those observations and reevaluate them in conjunction with whatever it is that is your internal star, that is the sort of inspiration that has led you to create whatever it is that you're creating. So that way I think you won't be stuck in this defeatist mindset of, oh, this isn't going to work. The reality is some things aren't going to work, but that doesn't mean you can't be successful. Just reevaluate and try again and improve and iterate, which is really what you've been doing all along. You need to do it not just in terms of the fundamentals. You need to take those fundamentals and create the actual project with them. That's what I see coming from here. So let's see what we don't see coming. The Lust card. Yeah, so I think whatever this is that you're building is something you feel very passionate about, and I think that's why you're afraid of screwing it up. You're afraid of meeting defeat because this is something that really fuels you. This is something that really makes you feel alive. This is something that this is what gives you purpose. And so even though you know it's not necessarily always going to work as desired, it doesn't matter. That's not enough to stop you from propelling this forward. I don't think you're going to get stuck in a suspended animation moment. I think you're just afraid that self-reflection is going to stifle your ability to keep producing, and I don't think that's true. I think that this fuel that is inspiring this in the first place is enough to make sure that this self-reflective moment that you have up here is not going to be the full final outcome, just maybe the outcome for the moment. So, what might feel right now or in the near future as a bump in the road isn't going to be the end. It's just going to be a small setback that you will then continue to grow from and learn new lessons from. So I think that's the message. At least that's how I'm getting this message here. Again, is always use your own personal intuition. If these cards are telling you something more personally that is not quite in line with what I'm saying, that's fine. Always use your intuition, okay? But that's the message I'm seeing from here. So that's pretty good. Let's see what we get from the shadow deck now. So let's see. We'll pull 3 cards from here. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so let's see what kind of background feelings, thoughts, energies, or sort of coloring this. I suspect we might see a little bit more about the anxiety that's coming from what is fueling this. Or maybe we'll see a little bit more positive energy of what is propelling you to even engage in this in the first place. But those are the 2 likely things that I'm thinking we're going to see here. But let's see. Okay, so what do we have from the shadow deck? We'll pull 3 cards. We have the 9 of Spheres, we have the Queen of Spheres, and we have the 8 of Wands. Okay, and we'll look at what's on the other side of the shadow deck in a second to finish everything up. So the Queen of Spheres is the same as the Queen of Discs here. So again, I think you know what you're doing. You've put the time in, you've trained, you've practiced, you know the skills. You now just need to learn to implement and put those things out in the world. And again, we have the 8 of Wands, card that's right here, right? The 8 of Wands is the swiftness card. So I think that in conjunction with the lust card, I think that actually you are really excited to make something of this idea that's boiling inside of you. And so even though you're anxious about it meeting pushback and failure, it's not going to stop you. You have the energy to push this into the world and make this into something awesome. And I think this 9 of Spheres is the sort of, which is nice, it's right above the 8 here. The 8 is turning into a 9. So this is the sort of independent prosperity that you have of once you've done the work to make this happen. I think in your mind, you know exactly how comfortable and happy this is going to make you. And so in terms, as I said, I had a feeling this was either going to be something about our anxieties or something about the fuel pushing us forward. And although we have a little bit of doubt here, I think the main force of this is a powerful sort of fiery engine that's pushing you to want to make this creative project happen. Because this 9 of Spheres, this happy, in the Rider-Waite deck, this shows a woman sitting in her or standing in her garden and reflecting back on all the great things that she has made in her life, feeling very much like how the Queen of Discs is portrayed here. And so this is making that success in the physical realm not the ultimate. This is more of a personal success rather than bringing it into the community or sharing it with a family. But that's because I think this is your project. This is your idea. This is something you're making. So you are going to take what you've learned and you're going to make the better version of your life that you see inside of your mind a reality, and nothing's going to hold you back. This is going to happen. You're going to make it real. So let's see what we don't see coming on the back of the deck here. We have an 8 of Swords. So what you don't see coming, similar to how I'm sort of reading off of this 5 here, I don't know that this is an actual defeat so much as a fear of defeat, and I think that 8 of Swords energy is exactly that fear holding you back. So again, you're propelled forward. You want to make this happen, but don't let your doubts hold you back. Don't let your second guessing keep you from being able to make what is very clearly something you feel very strongly about a reality. So stick with that positive force forward, and don't let this negativity hold you back. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful, and I again hope you have a great rest of your day.